discussion session about property valuation using machine learning, a study of budget accommodation in Bali, today through online media meetings. First of all, let's say thanks to God, who has been giving us guidance, happiness, healthy, mercy, so we can attend and participate in this event without any obstacles. Before we proceed to our group discussion, let's take a silent moment and pray. Let's pray begin. Thank you. We hope we are all granted with good health. To mark the opening of our group discussion session today, we humbly ask Mr. Nafiantoro to deliver the opening speech for this session. For that, with all due respect, please welcome Mr. Nafiantoro.
Thanks, Mbak Ella. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon for all participants. Thanks for speakers today, Mbak Galuh from KPKNL Surabaya and Mas Hanief Noer from Direktorat TVD. Thanks for your coming to share your knowledge. And I think it's very interesting topic that will be discussed today. The topic is property valuation using machine learning, study of budget accommodation in Bali. I think it's very interesting topic that will be discussed in this afternoon. If I look at Oxford definition about machine learning, the use of the development of computer systems that are able to learn and adapt without following explicit instruction by using algorithm and statistical models to analyze and draw invitation from pattern in data. I think it's very interesting that will be discussed. In valuation, actually, we have automatic valuation model that might be will be compared with machine learning. Automatic valuation that will be discussed. Actually, in definition, statistically based computer program that use real estate information such as comparable sales, property characteristic, and price tend to provide a current estimated of market value for a specific property. I think that the big question is evaluation can do by machine learning. The answer will be delivered by our speakers today, and then we will discuss later. And feel free for the discussion to make our knowledge increases and my English actually will be improved. I think it's in for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And let's.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mr. Nafi for his remarks. Let us towards the core event. Carrying on the next part, I will introduce our moderator today. She is Ms. Anteng Sefani. We call her Ms. Sefi, Staff of Standardization of Property and Natural Resources Valuation. She will accompany you through the whole event presentation until question and answer session afterwards. Okay, please welcome Ms. Sefi.
Thank you, Ms. Ella. Hello, everyone. Carrying on the next part, without further ado, I will accompany you through the whole event presentation until question and answer session afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, our speakers today are Mrs. Galuh Mafela Mutiara Sujak and Mr. Hanief Nurafi, and we might call them Mbak Galuh dan Mas Hanief. Mbak Galuh is staff at DGSAM Operational Office at Surabaya. She was born in Lamongan in 1995, completed her studies at PKN with a Bachelor of Accounting. Halo Mbak Galuh. Nice to meet you, Mbak.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
Next, our second speaker is Mas Hanief. He was born in Malang in 1994, completed his studies at Universitas Terbuka with a Bachelor of Management, and now he is staff at Direktorat TSI. Halo Mas Hanief.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Mas.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Okay, before the presentation start, let me tell you how the presentation will go. First, Ms. Galuh and Mr. Hanief will be invited to present the material. After that, there will be a question and answer session, followed by a conclusion. All of the participants may ask directly with a raised hand or write your question on chat column in this Zoom meeting. Now, allow me to welcome the speakers to make his presentation. Mr. Galuh, Ms. Galuh and Mr. Hanief, please welcome to explain the material.
Okay, thank you for me, Sefi. May I ask, before we start, who will share the screen? Is it me or from the Penilaian?
From Mbak Galuh.
Okay. Okay. Please give me some time to prepare it. Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Miss Sefi, Miss Up. My name is Galuh Mafela and yes, my name is Galuh Mafela and my partner is Hanief Nurofik, both applying machine learning model as a valuation method, a study of budget accommodation in Bali. So let's say, imagine we are valuing a common property and generate a different result. Is it a problem? No, mainly it's not a problem, unless our value gap is way too high and does not reflect reasonable market price. Speaking of this, do we ever think that the value difference among valuers is caused by our nature as a human? There is a notion that we humans love to simplify and find cognitive shortcuts in solving complex problems when making a decision. This is called heuristics. Heuristics is one of the values behavioral uncertainties identified by Ali. The evaluation is showed by the local value tendency to look into stories provided by their personal context of market information, rather than looking and processing historical and frequency data which fit the suitability of the context. This is the research. The research is by Ali in Malaysia in 2020. But we can say that heuristic is our natural, our nature of human being, right? We love to problem quickly rather than weighing all of the alternatives due to our brain's capacity to process data and information reflected in our traditional valuation system, namely market comparable. In this method, we only use 2 to 5 comparables rather than using larger samples or the whole population. Among our busy and limited schedule, this will save our brain from processing too much data and information by limiting it from the first. Okay, so there are also another behavioral uncertainties besides these heuristics. Another examples are the failure to find most appropriate models and failure to determine the effect of the attributes. Take the example when you and me are valuing the same object, but we use different samples, different model, or different method, and different adjustment. Of course, this will the
Hello,
opportunity.
Ms. Galuh. I think your connection is unstable.
Yes.
Can I share my
Yeah.
screen? Because L connection is unstable.
Okay.
It's okay, Mr. Hanief.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, sorry for the interruption. We will continue. Start from the example. Oh yes, the example. So there is an opportunity for me to use the model and the attributes that yield higher value. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Shillers in 2014 concluded that markets have already been human factor engineered, which is the predecessor to the talk of the using technology to financial extent. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, financial technology or fintech is now a part of our life, but we must admit that the technology will always keep revolutioning. Today, the fintech is not only about online registering banks online and etc. Today, the fintech is the era of the big data, the utilization of big data. In banks and financial organizations, big data may be utilized to predict consumer behavior and develop strategies. So why don't we try to develop the same thing for our government business? Next slide. Related to the valuers behavioral uncertainty, we try to apply machine learning as a valuation method. Machine learning learns from the data set provided and learns to do self-valuation and has been used in many range of fields. In this study, we try to select the best model, but not only that, we also try to determine which variables contribute the most to the model. We hope that the variable found here can be used as a consideration for the valuers who use traditional valuation approach of when valuing budget accommodation in Bali. Okay, next. Yeah, this is the main findings here. So this study used accommodation rental prices in Bali, which is gathered online from booking site Traveloka 1 month ahead of the analysis date. We use 1 month ahead from the analysis date because we perceive that the price 1 month ahead is better to reflect price. And then we choose Bali because Bali has a high tourist potential. So it is considered has high tourist lodging business also. And then we limit the object to the budget accommodation, which refers to a hotel with fewer amenities and the target market is moderate and lower income people, such as 2-star, 1-star, non-star, and VHO. VHO is virtual hotel operator. The examples are Oyo, Airbnb, Airy Rooms, Red Doors, and Sand Rooms. We don't use 3-star hotels and above because there is a considerable price difference between them. And then in determining the variables, we use hedonic pricing model or HPM theory. According to this model, the rental price is a linear function of numerous parameters. As a result, we gathered 439 accommodation with 31 attributes. So to perform this analysis, we divide the data set into train and test of 80 and 20. The stage data processing and ADA, and then the result and discussion. This is the first step is data gathering. We collect the data by scraping through Traveloka. And here are our 31 attributes gathered from Traveloka. The next step is data preprocessing and ADA. In this stage, we carried out ADA to see if there is some data that needs to be cleaned. In short, we clean the data, we view the variable cardinality and create new variables. The new variables we create here is the
Type variable.
type variable. Oh yes, we create new variable called type. This is because due to the high cardinality of the data, we try to help the machine to identify the accommodation by its name. So we know that its accommodation has different name. And then we try to help the machine to group them as based on their name. Like if they has the hotel in the name, so it will be grouped as a hotel. If there is villa, so it also will be grouped as a villa. This is the type variables. Next is the result and discussion. Okay, this study employed seven models as stated in the screen. In determining the best model, we use RMSA in making measurements. The lower the RMSA, the better the model's ability to produce price predictions. So according to the result, the XGBoost has the lowest score, so it is considered as the best model in this case. Now we get the best model to produce price prediction for budget accommodation in Bali using machine learning. But we are not stopping here. After we obtain the best model, we try to explain its feature important using SHAP, SHAP, SHAP. Next slide. This is SHAP. This is the graph from SHAP. The SHAP approach can provide an overview to the feature important of the XGBoost models as shown at the left figure. Based on the image, the variables can be contributing factors. We can see that the breakfast, room size, reviewer ratings, etc. are the most are the variables that most influence at the models. And to see the contribution of each variables, we use sharp scatter B-swarm as shown in the right figure. Okay, let us try to look at the variable, the most contributing factor in the B-swarm plot. It is breakfast. So we can see that the absence of the breakfast will lower the price prediction, and the provision of the breakfast will make the price prediction higher. So it is the same as the room size. The larger the room size, so the price will be higher, and the smaller the room size, it will be cheaper. But as for the reviewer, we cannot say whether the reviewer affect the price in bad or good way, because we can see, as we can see, the blue dot here, the blue dots here are evenly distributed on the horizontal lines. So it is caused because it is the data itself. The reviewer in our study is only quantity of the reviewer. So different from the rating system, which defines 1-star and 5-star as excellent, we cannot justify whether higher reviewer is good or not because it is only the number of the reviews. So there is a chance that an accommodation has lower review, but the review is bad comment. So and there is also a chance that the reviews is good, something like that. We cannot quantify whether it is good or bad, not like the rating system. Okay, as for the type, I'm sorry. Okay. Hello. Okay, can we move to the next slide? Okay, so this is our conclusion and suggestions. According to the result of the model, XGBoost is the best model to predicting rental price on budget accommodation in Bali, with the most contributing variables are breakfast, room size, application reviews, ratings, and type of accommodations. Our suggestions are: the first, future research can be conducted in the same absolutely XGBoost is not the best model for all. It is not one for all, but for the next research we can conduct in the same way and use RMSA to find the best models. And then the second suggestions, variables found can be used as a minimal standard references for traditional market valuation approach. For example, from this study, we conclude that we concluded that breakfast provision is the most contributing factor. So maybe next time in the traditional valuation system, we can include breakfast variable into the standard reference variable for assessing budget accommodation in Bali. And then more variables can be feature engineered, such as quantification of the bad and good reviews. But as for the time limitation, this study did not include it all. Yeah. Okay, ready. Okay, everyone. This is the end of the presentation. Thank you for your attention. And
Thank you very much, Ms. Galuh and Mr. Hanief, for giving such an informative and interesting presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to the next session, which is discussion or time for the question and answer session. I would like to have 3 questions from the participants. Please don't be shy or hesitate to ask. Okay, to questioner, please raise your hand and mention your name before giving opinion, question, or answer. Any question maybe?
Yes, Pak Arik.
Mr. Arik, you still mute?
Thank you, Mas Hanief and Mbak Galuh. I have a simple question for you because I still difficult to connect it between Mas Hanief Noor as the SI and then you as the employee of KPKNL Surabaya, and then talk about something related study case budgeting in accommodation in Bali, right? But maybe you can just tell us everything about that, and then also how do you learning about the methods, which is you just like autodidact, something like this, and then you very concerned with the valuation, or how can you make a this presentation? I just little curiosity about this before I have a special question for the next session. Okay, Bagalu. Because I'm as the Director of Valuation, just ask to Mas Nafi, like no, how can Galuh meet with the Mas Hanief and then something, yeah, for me it's very unique. Can you explain it?
Ella, can you answer first?
Okay, Mas Hanief. Okay.
Maybe I will answer where I learned this machine learning. Maybe I just saw this certificate. Is this
That's
enough?
one. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned from
I see.
Michigan, University of Michigan.
I see, I see. No, no, I don't, I don't. That's why, yes. And then how do you know Mbak Galuh?
She is my wife.
Ah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay. Because I'm very great impression with this, actually with this presentation, right? Okay, I give this opportunity to other participant for discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arik and Mr. Hanif and Miss Galuh for the answer. Maybe Pak Nafi want us to Mr. Galuh and Miss Galuh and Mr. Hanif.
Yes, thanks, Mbak Selvi. I think it's very interesting topic that will be discussed this afternoon. I have several questions for you. The first question is related to the data that you collect. I want to know how you can you explain to us how you validation or review of about data that you use in this model. That is my first question. And then into question is about classic assumption test. If we talk about regression in maybe in SPSS or FUs, we always use classic assumption test. Is it this model use the classic assumption test or not? Or you used to how to validation the model? What the method or tools that you use to validation about this model? And the last question is from your opinion for both of you, because you are is couple. I think you will will answer for the ones. Is it can be used to creating a value or the result as the value, or it just tools that will be considered to what we call we to consider for the guidance that when we conducting the valuation, especially when we use market approach that we adjustment for the comparable property to valuation object. Is it, in your opinion, is it can be result the value directly, or it is for the guidance? That's my several question for both of you. Thanks, Mbak Sevi, Mbak Galuh, Mas Ani.
Yes, thank you, Pak Nafi. Pak Nafi give Miss Galuh and Mr. Hanif 3 questions. I think you can answer question now. Okay, Mr. Hanif and Miss Galuh.
Ella, can you answer it first?
Okay, I will try to answer it, but after I state my opinion, you will correct me. Okay, for the question, for the technical things like data validation, I think it is Mas Hanif's specialty, because I think in these machine learning models, we don't use this kind of data validation, right, Mas Hanif? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, we don't use like maybe you refer to like AFIS or SPSS, but in machine learning it has different approach. Like we just give the machine our data and they will run to search the most best pattern to fit the data. So uh, uh, for your third question, this model can be used to predict property value directly. So we can save the model and we can load in another places and use this model to evaluate maybe another object. Yeah, something like that. Is this answering your question, or Ella, do you have any answer?
No, I think it is enough for me. From me. But
Pak Nafri, is enough or any conclusion?
I think it's enough because Mbak Cindy, I think it's very very conscious and wants to ask about data analytics. Is it right, Mbak Cindy? The time is yours.
Thank you, Panavi. Okay. I think let's say I would like to ask on one question here. First, glad to see you, Mbak Ella and Mas Hanief here. And as you know that we have a project, a strategic project together with Direktorat TSI, with Mas Hanief actually, about data analytic to predict the rental value. And actually, I'm really interested and really want to know about your presentation. It's about the SHAP. This is the first time I hear about the SHAP. What is that, and how far that method can give you can increase the value of model? Maybe that is.
Okay, Mr. Hanief and Ms. Galuh, I think there is a question from Mr. Haddad Hussein Lubis in chat column.
Can
You
we
will answer
answer
the
question from Cindy first?
Okay. Okay.
Ella, you want to answer? Because you are the one who will present.
Thank you for so a sub SHAP. I think it is a tool. So it is not a tool to improve the prediction or something. So after the machine learning choose the best model to predict the data, in this case is so we can stop, but we also still can continue by seeing the feature important of the from the XGBoost. So we know that the best model is XGBoost, but then why it is not we want to see the feature important. Feature important is like what are the variables in the what are the variables that is influencing the XGBoost so it predict the best match price. It's something like that. So SAP, this shop. Yeah, SHAP to determine the variables that the price prediction. So maybe in another model, the feature important is different. So because we choose to see the feature important from XGBoost, so this is the feature important. Maybe in other models, the most influencing is not breakfast, maybe it is writing. So we try to see the influence of the variables. This is the same like when we run the regression and see the correlation. Yeah, Mas Hanief.
The question is how this sub approach improve the output of the model, like the sub file. The SAP approach is not for improving our model result, but it to view which variable have the most magnitude or impact to the output. And let's say in the breakfast, our data is this object have breakfast and not have breakfast. If this object have breakfast, we can see the red dot here that the presence of the breakfast have maybe a higher impact for the output. If we just see the left graphic here, is the feature important? We know if the breakfast is important, but we don't know how is each value impact to the model. Yeah, something like that. If we see another example, is we can see the sacred and religious site. If this object have sacred and religious site within 1 kilometer, our model will adjust the price with negative value, so the price will be lower. So the sub approach here is not for increasing our model result, but just to see how this variable impact on our output. Yeah, Ella.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Cindy, is it enough or have any other question?
Yes. Okay. So there's no related with the RMSA, right? Even we use SHP or not, is right, Mr. Han. Okay. Thank you. That's enough, Mbak Sefi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Cindy. In the chat room, we have one question from Mr. Haddad Hussein. I will read the question. As far as I know, SPSS also may be used by programming with Python, same as R long in some GWR apps. What kind of statistical model is used as a base in this machine learning analysis?
Okay, I will answer this question. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
What kind of statistical model is used on this machine learning? We use 4 main model, that is linear model, consists of linear regression, ridge, lasso, and elastic net. And then we have ensemble model, that is random forest regressor. And we have support vector machine like SVR and SGBoost. We use SGB regression, SGBoost regressor. So maybe it is very different with SPSS. I don't know in SPSS like what model, but in this research we use fully Python language, and the model we use is this seven model, statistical model. Is it answer your question?
Yes. How to say? Then each of these model is compared by the RMSE. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
the
use
best model is XGB, right?
yeah, SGBoost.
Yes. Because as far as I know, like RMSE, then that there are 4 category to how to say, we want to know which model is the best, but there are 4 in big how to say, in big they may conclude to the same direction, but actually these 4 categories are not don't have the same conclusion like that. Like I don't know how to say that in English.
Can you use this model with different location, maybe?
Like accuracy criteria, like determination coefficients such as including the RMSE. If we use application like GWR4, GWR4 like that, we may see it clearly about this, like this, like RMSE. Then is just one of the categories I know. I mean, it is, how to say, it is concluded into not the same. I don't know how to say. Sorry.
Maybe you can speak in Indonesia, Mas, and that is okay. So the main your questions maybe because you want to read something.
Yes, sir. Because the language is too technical, like
yeah,
that.
technical. Yeah, that's why. Because very technical is not easy, right, to describe. Just in your opinion, very easy to deliver your questions.
It's like uji kriteria ketepatan model. We use like AICC like that. Then like determination coefficient with maybe residual sum square or square error like that. Then R square. Between the AICC and R square or RMSE, they may conflict in the same direction, but different measurement. And then like there are 4 categories like that. The determination coefficient including this determinant square error and residual sum square. Then uji kriteria ketepatan model, accuracy ya, uji kriteria ketepatan model. Then there are 2 more like that. I mean, so the conclusion used here is based on those categories of those statistical categories like that. I mean.
Ella, you want to answer? Ella?
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, actually it is not my specialty, but what Mr. Haddad want to ask is about the validity, how we validate the data, something like that, yeah. Because in SPSS we validate the data manually. Yes, is that right, Mr. Haddad?
Mr. Haddad, you still
No, I mean that the machine learning analysis gives conclusion based on statistic like that, statistical conclusion like this.
May I explain about machine learning first?
Yes.
Because it's very different with statistical approach. It's more like a computer science approach. So you can see here is if we want predict some linear model, we use we need 2 data. First is the data itself and the label. The label is the one that we will predict. So in this example is we told the machine to learn by itself. So we told them to learn 100 times. So they as you can see here is the first step is the machine will be learn how to interpret this data. As you can see here, it took 500 milliseconds and have higher loss. And for the 1000 step, the machine only need maybe 10 millisecond and the loss is only 7. So the machine learning is how we use machine so that the machine can learn to like do valuation or predict something. Maybe it's very different with SPSS and how we measure the we can say the accuracy is by using RMSE. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
that's from me.
Haddad, is the statement from Mr. Hanief and Miss Ella enough, or you have any question?
Okay, maybe that's enough.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Haddad. Mr. Hanief and Miss Ella, there is still question from chat room from Mr. Yogi. I will read the question. AFAIK the price list in such sites like Traveloka is made by a algorithm that count how many the link or property is clicked. Did you put this into consideration in doing your research?
Ella,
Okay.
you want to answer?
Okay, I will try to answer it. So yes, we put this into our consideration. So in this study, we use the data one month. So in example today is 5 August. So the data we use is data at 5 September. This is because it's better to reflect the best price, just like the questions. So if the data were obtained within 1 week or around 1 week, so they will be more volatile because it will adjust to the demand from the clicks in the Traveloka and the possibility of the extra discount. So yes, we put it into our consideration. And why we use online Traveloka online data, because it is just our limitation in the data and in the human. The time is short, but we want to create something that involves big data. So the most possible is scraping data through Traveloka. Yeah, that is our answer. Thank you.
It is enough, Mr. Yogi, or any question more? If it's enough, I think Miss Pak Nafi is raised hand. So it's yours, Miss Pak Nafi.
Okay, because I'm I think it's very interesting topic. So I have several questions again for you. My first question is the basic theory that when you put the attribute or the variable that you use in this model, is it you have the theoretical theory that uh, that you consider to when you put the variable is my first question. And the second question is related to the R square. Okay. I see in this models, the R square is about 1.2, if I'm not wrong in your presentation. Is it in the Python or this model? Is it the I square is not considered, or is because when we compare with the another tools like SPSS or FUs, maybe R square is the important thing that that must be considered. Is it in this models is R square is not considered? And the last question is about in this you said that the iteration is used in this model. So is it iteration that that conducting in this model is included to reducing the variables that used in this model? I mean, if we use, let's say, 20 variables that we conducting in this model, asset iteration is included to reduce, like let's say, from 20 and then became 10 maybe. Is it included when the iteration is due in this model? This is my three questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Pak Nafi. Mr. Hanief or Miss Ella want to answer?
Ella, try to answer.
I'm sorry, but actually I don't get the question fully. I'm sorry, Mr. Nafi.
Maybe my first question is the theoretical basis. I mean, when we put the variables, when we conducting the models, is it the base theory, like when we conducting the valuation and adjustment, like with the this property characteristic, and then maybe from the distance from CBD, is it especially is it use the basic theory? Is it when you put this variable, when you
Yeah.
use this model, you have a basic theory to put the variable that must be analytic in this model?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you are asking about our consideration in choosing the variables. Yes, we in choosing the variables we use the HPM hedonic pricing models. Hedonic pricing models is very popular in valuation. I think it is. There are many research about PM HPM. So all of our variables is based on the research from about the HPM. So take example, the variables are so all of our variables like the stars, the rating, reviewer, and etc. Actually, it's based from another researchers. So and it is all based on the hedonic pricing models. It is a linear. It is like a linear function. Price is the price of the property or from the rent or price of everything is is created from many factors, something like that.
Okay, Mbak Galuh. And the second question maybe with the
Yeah.
R square, is it considered or not in this model?
Okay, R square. R square is one of the performance metrics. Am I right? Yeah. So
Yes.
performance there are lots of performance metrics: RMSA, R square, and then mean, and etc. In these models, in this study, we use RMSA as our performance metrics, not R square. The reason we are using RMSA is because let me take a look our paper first. I'm sorry. As I can say, RMSA is the most commonly used metrics in machine learning. This statement is stated in the papers from in 2018, 2019, Chai and Draxler and Karuna Sinha. So RMSA is particularly the square root version of mean square error. It's very technical, I'm sorry.
That's no problem. Maybe you can use the general calculation about that. I don't want to know about the detail of your study, but I just want to know the generally, oh, this is based on the theory or the what we call it's the theoretical is valid, so it's no problem for me. I just want to know. I'm curiosity about this R square, because if we compare with something I've used or SPSS, so in my brain that R square is very important in this FUs and SPSS. So I just want to know, is it considered or not? But thanks for your explanation. And for the last question, maybe that's iteration. That Mas Hanief said that iteration maybe 100. I am, if I'm not wrong, 100 times, right?
It's not
More.
for this paper. That is
Yeah.
another model to explain what is
Oh,
machine
I
learning.
see. Okay. But is it the iteration is included the reducing of the variable or not, or just the data that reduce if this data like 500, right? Is
Yeah.
it reduced by till to 2000 maybe? Sorry, 200 maybe. Is it included the reducing of variable or just reducing the data without reducing the variable that the analysis?
The one I showed you before is using deep learning, and in machine learning there is no iteration like in epochs like in deep learning. So it is very different in, but in machine learning we use number of estimator. It's like how many you, how to say, like if do you know about decision tree, how many leaf we use to make a prediction. In machine learning we use can something like that, but in deep learning we use iteration to iterate the data between the neural network. It's quite different. Ella, can you explain it more clearly, maybe?
No.
I think it's from a question is enough. I think I have get that point of your explanation, both of you. Thanks a lot, Mas Hanif and Mbak Ella.
Thank you, Pak Nafi, Mas Hanif, dan Mbak Ella. I think there is a statement from Miss Haddad in that column chat. Because some of the statistical app use such fast reiteration with many metric like GWR4 in order get the optimum bandwidth value between the minimum variance and biases. Does Mr. Hanif and Miss Ella want to respond the statement from Miss Haddad, from Mas Haddad?
Honestly, I don't know about statistical app like SPSS, yeah, because it's more like a statistic, but in machine learning it's more to computer science, and it's I think very different approach.
Okay, Mr. Mas Haddad, it's enough. Okay. Next, there is still question from Mas Bayu in the chat column. For asset manager, there are problems similar to could this way machine learning implement to make database for valuation and use for asset manager to make letter approval. Okay, Mr. Hanief and Miss Ella. I think it's a question from Mas Bayu.
I think it's very technical and it's not our expertise. You can ask to PISA maybe. They are the one who built the application in DigiSem.
Oh, I see. Mr. Bayu, is the statement from Mas Hanief enough? Or okay, thank you, sir, from Mas Bayu. Any question from other participant? If there are no other question, I want to ask a last question maybe. I never used machine learning before. What are the required skill or milestone to use machine learning? Or is there any special skill to learn machine learning?
Maybe you must understand computational thinking and use programming language like Python, or maybe you can use an application like Orange data mining.
Orange data mining.
Yeah, that is the easiest way to learn machine learning.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mas Hanif. Any other question? Oh, there is a statement from Mas Yogi. So, for machine learning, what is more important, the variance or data or the change of data?
It's not both of them. In my opinion, the most important is the amount of your data. If you don't have enough data, you won't have a better model to make a prediction. But if you have enough data, let's say 10,000 data, maybe you will produce a good result for the model. Because the basic of the machine learning is they learn from data. So we need to provide the huge amount of data for machine to learn.
Okay, thank you, Mas Hanif. Mas Yogi, is it enough or do you have any question? Thank you. Any other question?
Pak Sefi.
Yeah, Mbak Cindy.
Maybe I can ask again here to
Yes, of
Mbak
course.
Ella dan Mas Hanif. Yes, as you mentioned before, and actually you present on your slide, that the root mean square error, that you say the best method using XGBoost, and it give 79,000 RMSA. Generally, in several literature observation or study, the RMSA should be 0 to make the model is visible to use. In this case, in your study and observation for this case, is it still visible to use your model with that score RMSA? Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Cindy. Mas Hanif or Mbak Ella, I give the time to yours. The time is.
Ella, can you answer? Ella?
Hello.
Ya, halo Mbak Ella.
Maybe Mas Hanief can answer the Mbak Cindy question.
What is your question? What is the? It's about root mean square error, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And the
The
question is?
value of RMSA. Actually, generally in literature of study, that RMSA should be in zero value, but in your case, that the score is 79,000, right? And is it still feasible, this model, to predict the value, in your opinion?
Okay. What is the good RMSA value? It's not zero. It's depend on your data. If you have data like it's you want to predict, it's the range is between 0 and 80. And if you have 100 RMSA, your model is not very good because the range of the data is 0 until 80. But if you predict house price, like the range of the price is 100,000 to 500,000, and your mean square error is 70,000, I think it is considered to be a good RMSA value. So you need so it is depends on the case when will you use that kind of RMSA. That's from me. Ella, you want to answer?
Actually, there is an example about this RMSA selecting in the internet, but I forgot where is it. I'm sorry. But overall, the answer is like what Mas Hanief said, that the RMSA value is depend on the data itself. So it's not absolutely zero is the best, but the lower the RMSA is the best. It is depend on the data itself. Because we use a price which is such a large number, so the RMSA is generated like that.
Okay, thank you Mbak Ella, Mas Hanief. Good luck.
Thank you, Mbak Cindy, Mas Hanief, Mbak Ella. Is there any question? Okay, if there no question, I will close the question and answer session. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of this group discussion. Before closing the discussion, I want to draw a conclusion from what the speakers said. The conclusion of presentation today is the things that are needed in the machine learning model as evaluation method are selecting predictive model and determining which variables contribute the most to the model. From study of budget accommodation in Bali, XGBoost is the best model for predicting rental prices on budget accommodation in Bali. I would like to thank the speaker for their informative and interesting presentation and all the participants for their very active participation. Hopefully, the presentation will give benefit for us. Finally, applaud the speaker and all of you. Thank you. I give it back to the MC.
Thank you, Ms. Safi. Dear friends and colleagues, as the question and answer session comes to an end, it marks the end of our group discussion for today. It has surely been a delightful moment for us as we can enrich our knowledge. On behalf of the committee and all colleagues behind the screen, we would like to thank the speaker, Ms. Galuh Mafela, and Mr. Hanief Noer, and the moderator, Ms. Anteng Sefani. Also the participation of all members who have been very enthusiastic through the whole event. Dear friends and colleagues, this concludes the whole event for today. We do apologize if there is any mistake or something that made uncomfortable during this session. We are looking forward to see you in the future events. Stay safe, stay healthy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mas Hanief, Mbak Galuh, for your participation and the whole participant.
Thank you, Mbak Ella, Mas Galuh, and all.
Thank you, Mbak Ella,
Thanks, Mbak.
Mas Hanief.
Mbak Ella, Mas Hanief, success for
Yeah, thank you very
Thanks
much.
all participants.
Good luck for your presentation in iOS, Mbak Ella.
Thank you, Mbak Cindy.